Bursa Malaysia ended lower today in line with a global sell-down in equities after the US Federal Reserve delivered another hefty 75 basis point rate hike to curb rampant inflation. Russia's escalation of its war with Ukraine didn't help sentiment. The benchmark FBM KLCI slipped 0.55% to close at 1,439.16. On the broader market, decliners led gainers 447 to 372, while 424 counters were unchanged, 1,147 untraded, and 9 others suspended. Total turnover stood at 2.17 billion units, worth 1.68 billion ringgit. Among the heavyweights, Maybank shed 2 cent to 8 ringgit 71, Public Bank eased 1 cent to 4 ringgit 39, Petronas Chemicals Group dropped 11 cent to 8 ringgit 50 cent, CIMB Group Holdings declined 7 cent to 5 ringgit 38, and IHH Healthcare fell 10 cent to 6 ringgit. Meanwhile, Malaysia's daily foreign exchange turnover jumped to its highest on record since 2017 at 22.16 billion US dollars, about 101.21 billion ringgit, from 15.06 billion dollars yesterday. At last look, the ringgit weakened past 4.56 against the US dollar after depreciating below the 4.57 level earlier. For now, economists said it is still a US dollar play, as anticipation of more US interest rate hikes to above 4% is expected to favour the greenback against other currencies. Bank Malaysia economists said in a note that the local currency should be trading close to 4.6 against the dollar. India's Supreme Court has reportedly refused to lift a 2018 halt on IHH Healthcare's open offer for Fortis Healthcare shares and ordered a forensic audit of the share sale. It said the Delhi High Court will decide on the open offer. In August 2018, IHH had acquired a 31% stake in Fortis by paying 1.1 billion US dollars, about 4.64 billion ringgit, in a bidding process overseen by an independent board. However, it couldn't make progress on its mandatory open offer for a 26% stake in the Indian hospital chain. This was after the Apex Court blocked the open offer on a plea filed by Japan's Daiichi Sankyo Co., which is trying to enforce a 3,500 crore rupee arbitration award it won in a Singapore tribunal against Fortis's former promoters, brothers Malvinder Singh and Shivinder Singh. The Japanese drug maker had moved the plea, alleging that the duo had pledged 1.7 million shares in Fortis Healthcare, held by Fortis Healthcare Holding, despite the top court forbidding it. The brothers were sentenced to 6 months in jail. Shares of IHH closed 1.64% lower today at 6 ringgit, valuing the healthcare services provider at 52.84 billion ringgit. Property tycoon Tan Sri Lim Soon Peng has clarified that SRC International had withdrawn its lawsuit against him on the basis of without any admission of guilt or liability. A statement issued on his behalf stressed that Lim did not benefit in any way, whether personally or with regard to business, and that neither he nor any of his family members have any business interest directly or indirectly in the two organizations that are final recipients of the money. The statement added that the withdrawal of the legal suit was to bring closure to an unhappy episode affecting the country and which unfairly implicated the businessman in a negative way. It was issued to clarify a report in The Edge last week, stating that Lim had settled the suit with payment of an undisclosed sum. SRC had filed the 330,800 ringgit suit against Lim in May last year over the funds that entered into his account via 3 cheques. Lim, who received the cheques on instructions from Datuk Sri Najib Razak and the ex-PM's then political secretary Datuk Wong Nai Chi, had said he was told to move the money to Akademi Kewartawanan and Informasi Taima and AD Network, which is the administrator of the Ajib Kaur Facebook page. He said he had no specific interests with the recipients of the fund. Rosli Dahlan, the lawyer representing SRC, confirms the contents of today's statement. Kedah-based property developer Bina Darul Aman is planning to potentially diversify into the agriculture, renewable energy and telecommunications sectors to capitalise on the respective sectors' resilience. Acting President and Group CEO Muhammad Iskandar Zulkarnain Ramli said in a briefing today that the pandemic has shown that its core business segments of property development and engineering, construction and quarry are highly vulnerable to COVID-19-linked lockdowns and movement control orders. He said the outbreak also demonstrated that certain sectors remained resilient throughout the pandemic phase, namely food production, power and telecommunications. Looking ahead, he said the group will work on identifying and determining the feasibility of adding these sectors to its portfolio in order to further embed resilience and future-proof revenue and profitability. He said an update on its plans will be announced by 2023. Muhammad Iskandar added that the group will prudently manage costs so that it can weather any potential headwinds in the coming year. At the close, shares in Bina Darul Aman were unchanged at 29 sen, giving the group a market capitalisation of 88.12 million ringgit. Lembaga Tabung Haji posted a total income of 1.47 billion ringgit for the first half of 2022, with total deposits of 88.09 billion ringgit, the highest level in the 59 years of its establishment. For the first 6 months, more than 200,000 new savings accounts were opened, increasing the number of depositors to 8.6 million. According to a Bernama report, Tabung Haji said this achievement reflected its resilience despite facing the after effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not ended. Meanwhile, Group MD and CEO Datuk Sri Amrin Awaluddin was cited as saying that an investment approach that prioritises a safe return reflects Tabung Haji's commitment to preserve and increase depositors' savings. According to Tabung Haji, the bulk of the income was derived from fixed income investments that contributed 966.34 million ringgit in the first half, accounting for 65.71% of total gross income. Investment in equities contributed 224.62 million ringgit, an improvement of 41.27 million ringgit compared with 183.35 million ringgit in the same period last year. Net profit came in at 1.03 billion ringgit compared with 1.22 billion ringgit for the same period in 2021.